Good afternoon. I'm a little bit late because I'll be honest, I completely forgot I was supposed to do this. That's what happens when you change up your schedule. I went swimming and then I decided to take myself out to lunch. And then I got home and I'm sitting here all fat and happy and going, what does that say on my to do list? Oh, crud monkeys. I was supposed to be on Facebook Live 20 minutes ago. Hi! All right. So let's talk about the size of your boat. Here's what I mean. The idea that every massage practice, every business is the same and has the same needs for education, for long term goals, for that's crap. There are sort of a range of types of practices, and I've broken them down into four types, and I represent them using four different kinds of watercraft. You get to decide which size your boat is. Four types of watercraft. Number one is a kayak. This is a practice of one person running this practice. It may be their primary source of income. It quite possibly might not be. They might be the second income in the household. This might be a side gig, whatever. And for them, for this kind of a practice, success is stability, sustainability, and steady income. Growth is not part of the goals. You want to get your practice to a certain point and just kind of stay there, which goes completely against most traditional business advice, which is if you're not growing, you're dying. But for people in what I call a kayak practice, that's not true. If you if you hit that sweet spot where you've got the number of clients you need to fill the schedule you want, every now and then one leaves and another one comes in, but you basically got a stable practice. It's right where you want it, the sweet spot. You're not worried about growth. When you decide to stop doing this work, you're not going to sell this practice. You're just going to close it, say thank you, and be done. That's a kayak practice. There are a lot of those in our industry, and telling them that they should be bigger or bolder is no, they shouldn't. They should be what they are. Moving up the watercraft scale, the next size is a sailboat. One sail, maybe a front sail, but a simple sailboat. Sorry, I love eating nuts, but they dry my throat out. A sailboat is one or two people, either a solo practice or two partners working together. It's more likely to be a primary source of income. Damn. But it could still be a secondary source of income in the household. Success here is that not that you're just sort of breaking even. Oh man, I'm sorry. It's not that you're breaking even, kind of like you are in a kayak practice, but there's enough profit, some modest growth. And the things you worry about are making enough money to pay both owners and pay for the things that you need. You need more than a kayak, but it doesn't have to be dramatically more. You need to cover your expenses and have a little bit more on top of that. And by expenses, I include taxes and paying the owners. These people do not worry about, for example, having multiple locations. It's going to be a single operation with one or two people in it. And when they decide they're done, they're going to close. Maybe they'll sell the practice. They're kind of on the line on this. But that's a sailboat practice. It's a little bit bigger than a kayak. It might be more critical to your day-to-day functioning income-wise. One or two people. And you're starting to actually want some growth, but not like massive growth because you don't really want to grow beyond the one or two people you've got. So modest growth, very modest growth. And that's a sailboat practice. We move from sailboat up to schooner. Now I'm married to a sailor, so I get into this language. A schooner is anything with more than one mast, and one of the ones in the back needs to be taller than the ones in the front. I think I'm probably butchering that. Don't tell my husband. We're going to call that a schooner. It's what you think of when you think of sailing the ocean in the 19th century. You know, those kind of big old boats. This is generally a multi-therapist practice or a wellness center with multiple practitioners of different backgrounds. And the odds are that this is the primary income for the people who own it. Maybe one owner, two owners. But this is a multi-therapist or multi-practitioner setting. This probably is your primary income because this takes a lot of work to run and manage. And success is about is in fact about growth and is adding staff as necessary. That this is you're looking for robustness and growth. And some of your biggest worries are staff turnover and maintaining a good balance in your staff. And perhaps how do you allocate resources among different practitioners? You don't tend to worry about client retention the same way because you've got so many practitioners and such a robust practice. This is one when you decide you're done, you sell it because it has an identity to the clients that is not one-to-one you to the client, but the client to the business. So you sell this. That's what I call the schooner, the multi-therapist practice. There's a lot more on the line. You've invested more in creating it. You really need to have a business plan. You got more people relying on you, and you've stepped up to a bigger practice. Now, what's number 4? Where do we go past schooner? Cruise ship. That's what I'm calling level 4, the cruise ship. And what we're talking now is a practice, often something like a franchise, with multiple locations. You've developed an identity and you want to expand beyond your single location. This is definitely the primary income of the owner, and it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. The administration of this, the behind the scenes management, really eats up a lot of your time and energy because it has to. And what you want is steady growth, steady increase in income, and you want to add locations. Perhaps not endlessly, but that's what you're gaming for. I mean, that's what you're going for, is to grow income and grow locations. And the challenge is managing all of that. Managing multiple locations is not easy. And as the owner, you'll spend way more time, possibly 100% of your time, managing the business and not doing massage. Um, and when you decide you want to get out of it, you absolutely sell it. So you're building this, so your growth is also geared towards building something that you can sell for significant profit. So there's a divide. You've got kayak and sailboat kind of down at this end where it's one person, maybe two, and you're just going to close it when you're done, and you're looking for either kind of hitting your sweet spot and staying there or just having modest growth and modest increase of income. And then you've got these two down here, which is the schooner and the cruise ship, where you're really much more focused on growth. You're focused on making more money. There's more people working for you. You're spending more time managing than you are doing massage. And you're going to sell it when you're done for some profit, ideally. That's my take on 4 different categories of massage practices. And each of them needs something different. For example, the kayak practice does not need a big old business plan, big old standard business plan. But if they're drawing all of their income from this, they do need some parts of a standard business plan, but they might be able to get away with a one-page business plan. Sailboat, because there might be partners involved, should work through a lot of a business plan to make sure they are in agreement about how this plan and this business is going to move forward, especially when it looks at defining a mission statement, who your best fit clients are, what your product is, that kind of thing. That what I talked about as the foundation of a practice, really important you come to agreement on that if you're in a sailboat practice. Because you are also probably relying on the income from that practice more significantly. When you get into schooner and cruise ship, you need to be looking at a traditional business plan because you've got other people counting on you now. It is your job to help other people make money. There's so much more on the line. And that's when that bigger standard, what I call the large business plan, really becomes important and worth the work. So that's my take on all of this. Are you kayak? Go ahead and drop, if you're looking at this, drop a comment in. Go down in the comments and tell me kayak, sailboat, schooner, or cruise ship? Which one are you, or which one do you aspire to be? Because there are ways to go from kayak into sailboat, into schooner, into cruise ship. But you have to make the decision to go there and to accept the changes to your professional life that go with it. And that's what I have to say about that. You got questions about it? Kind of wondering where you are or how you would move from one step to the next? Drop me a note. I'd be happy to talk to you about this. This is something I've been playing with for a couple of years now, and I'll probably keep playing with it. But otherwise, I hope your Monday is good, or at least will end soon. Hope you're not forgetting as many things as I clearly did today. And I will be here on Friday. I will be here on Friday. Usual time, 11 o'clock, is my plan. And I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. So, show up and be surprised. And I will see you then. Hope you have a good day. Bye bye.